We the people are free.
I didn't mess it up.
Live TV, everybody.
Yeah.
That has me like hype.
I know.
We
I'm
haven't
ready
even
to
gotten
go.
started yet.
I'm really
Hi,
excited.
David.
Hey, Taylor. It's the first show ever of Politically Uncensored.
First of many.
And it's just you and I hanging out. There is another host here, and you're probably wondering where he is, right?
Well, so I was told, and I'm really excited to do this because, this mystery host, this is not the first time that the three of us have gotten together. And so
Well, that's true.
I'm excited about this because we can both agree, first of all, that there is such a void in late night is as dead or more deceased than Joe Biden's reputation. And so we're here to bring it back.
Yeah. The late night's dead. Joe Biden arguably is still alive. Do you remember?
That's debatable. Yeah.
There was a period of time where they thought he was dead, and later we'll talk about that whole auto pen thing where maybe he was, and maybe they replaced him.
Was it a hologram? Is it a Tupac?
Yeah.
Ask hologram.
Yeah. We'll talk about that later. I'm really excited about this show because now this is a new show for all of us. Like, you have this fantastic show. We met because you do all this Hollywood stuff and you know all these famous people. And then we met at a shindig. And after the shindig, you're like, you guys are awesome. We need to have you on my show, you said. And then we come on your show. You're like, oh, wait, no, you're awesome. You come on our show. Wait, was it me first or you first?
I think I went on yours first. Was it like, I'll show you mine if you show me yours?
Basically, but I don't remember who showed who's what first.
Yeah.
Do you remember?
All we know, it was glorious. It was glorious. I think
glorious.
that I went on yours first.
Maybe.
And then you came on mine. And that's our show.
That's a good transition. Good segue.
It's a good thing we have the 10 p.m. slot. Look out to you, Greg Gutfeld.
But I don't know who came on what first, but
is David blushing?
Yeah, probably.
Oh no!
So I don't know who came on what first, but I do know that after we did each other's shows, this was like, wow, this is a lot of fun. We should do this more often. And then this idea was born because, as you said, late night TV was dead. And nothing's funny anymore. And look, I do politics all the time. You do Hollywood stuff. And then you have your funny shows where you talk about entertainment, lifestyle stuff. And I figure we need a break, right? And so this idea of this show, just so you guys know who are watching for the first time, you're like, what can I expect with these people? You can expect us to talk about a little politics, current events. We're going to talk about music. We're talking about entertainment. We're going to bring you the news, but we're going to have fun doing it. And that's the point of all of this. It's going to be funny. It's going to be informative, but it's not going to be stressful. When you're laying in bed, put your kids to bed, pour your third or fourth glass of wine to get through the... actually?
Chin chin. Chin chin. And I never drink on the job because, trust me,
it is 10
you guys
o'clock.
don't want to hear me. I don't want to say anything on the mic that I regret now, But with all of that, and it's kind of right on the nose with the name of the show, Politically Uncensored, because I feel like, you're exactly right. Nobody's funny, no matter how hard they try.
Right.
But I also feel like, let's be honest, no one really actually says what they think.
Well, they're afraid.
So they're afraid, and we're not. And so,
I'm afraid. I'm just going to do it anyway.
Well, okay. I mean, I'll cheers to the good for you. There you go. I'll salute that. And we're actually going to go there, guys, and say the things that we talk about behind closed doors that you're thinking. We're doing it late night. And it doesn't matter who came on whose show first, because we're here. If you guys came here first, like, we are all here to be in this experience together.
It's going to be fun.
But yeah, and I'm excited because free speech and expression has been my crusade, my hill to die on in all my work for years. So I'm super stoked about this. But it is late night. You did mention the third host, and I have a favorite. That's right. I have a favorite plush toy, and I'm not talking about the one in my nightstand. So where is this?
They make them plush now?
To choose your own adventure.
How do you clean that?
It's,
Yeah, all right. Anyway.
Ask our friend. We may have to ask our friend, actually, who's joining.
So where is Puppet? That's what you want to know, I'm assuming, right?
I want to know where Puppet is, and it is the reason partially. I mean, I love you, David, but it's partially why I signed on to do the show. Like, I was starting to get.
I think it wasn't partially. It was the only reason you signed on to do the show.
All right, fair.
The only reason you signed on to do the show is because this weird obsession you have with this puppet. And look, I get it. Everybody loves the puppet. He's charming. I don't find him attractive, but I guess you do. But he's huggable. And I did see in 2015 that by 2025, everybody would have like robot companions. And since that fell short and we don't have flying cars, you can have your puppet companion. But
you know what, David?
Yeah.
Don't play down. You're the one
Yeah.
who's allegedly seen his manhole, and I haven't. So yeah. So
It's
don't
not as
play
pretty. It's not a
down.
pretty sight.
Your
So Puppet was so excited to do the show with you, and he felt inadequate. And
That right.
he did. He was like, Dave, because I was giving him so much crap. I'm like, dude, she's out of your league, and I'm like, she's just using you for your manhole. She doesn't actually want anything to do with you. And he's like, you know what, Dave? I'm going under the knife. Screw it. And here's actually what happened, Taylor. Check it out.
It's okay, Mr. Carlson.
I don't know if I like this. I think I changed my mind. Dave! Dave! Help!
Don't worry. When you wake up, you'll be a new puppet. Just take a deep breath.
Hey, make sure he doesn't get in my manhole while I'm asleep.
So,
Are you trying to tell me that puppet
yeah,
transitioned?
he did. There was a bit of a transition while he was getting ready for the show.
What?
I don't know how you're going to feel about him anymore. And you're going to get to meet him. We're going to unveil the new and improved Puppet Carlson tonight on this show. And of course, in addition to talking about our new and improved Puppet Carlson, what else are we going to talk about tonight, Taylor? Because people aren't here just to see you and Puppet's weird love affair. There's other reasons why people want to stick around tonight, right? What are we going to be talking about?
I would beg to differ. However, if you are here for
Yeah.
a little more something, we are going to be talking about
Mhm.
the pro-Palestinian Columbia student. I'm sorry.
Can
who
we even
may
call
get
that
deported.
pro-Palestinian? We'll talk about this later. It's not pro-Palestinian,
Yeah.
anti-America Columbia student.
Anti-Israel, and you got two Jews here. So, but hey, what do we know? We are going to be talking about Gwen Stefani getting hate from her lefty crowd for
Right.
reposting
Right?
Jesus himself. We will explain. We're going to be talking about activist judges. We are going to be talking
Big
about
ruling today.
Joe
Yeah.
Biden and his hologram and the auto pen,
Yeah.
and dare I say, the Schumer shutdown that is no longer. Oh, yes.
Yeah. It's gonna be an exciting show, and I can't wait to talk about it. And all of it is coming up tonight on Politically Uncensored.
Woo!
Free your mouth and your mind will follow. Speak your truth, don't wait for tomorrow. Words
Friday,
like
everyone, big news
rivers
today
can
on
carve through stone.
this place is insane.
Yeah, they did. And she did it under a...
It's just too much
Silence
noise and it becomes
too
negative. So
heavy to bear alone.
Deemed the Celebrity Whisperer by Playboy.
Write your fears on the back of the wind. Tear down the walls you were raised within.
Puppet Carlson,
Chains of whispers rust and break.
I want leaders who want to make it good.
The cost of freedom is the noise you make.
Free speech in America. It's back.
it's back, baby, and so are we. So I think, Taylor, without further ado, I think it's time to introduce you to the new transitioned Puppet Carlson. Are you
I'm
ready for
nervous.
this?
Listen, we want to give the people what they want. I feel like it's it's the Bachelorette, on steroids. I'm a little nervous, but
It is like the Bachelorette a little
let
bit.
her rip.
All right, you ready?
I'm
Ladies
ready.
and gentlemen, back from his transitioning procedure. I don't even know what part of him they used to make what. Back from his transitioning procedure, fresh out of the My Pillow factory with his patented fill, I
Hello.
introduce you. What the hell?
Oh, hey! Hey, sorry, you got me in the middle of something there.
I noticed that.
Look at this guy. Oh my!
Mhm.
Wow, he's got a Caribbean glow.
Yeah.
What do you
He's
guys
got a-
think of the new look, huh?
It's a look puppet.
Wow, he's got the comb over.
So
I thought that's called the Carlson comb over there, honey.
I see. Oh, he's got a new attitude too. Did that come on the table?
What?
Well, the nurse was pretty cute, I have to say. Not as cute as you, though, Taylor.
Oh God, this is
Just
disgusting.
that I'd expect. hey, Puppet, who invited Dave to this? Is what I
don't
want
know.
to know.
I kind of don't want to
You
be
don't
here.
need a threesome, Taylor. You got it going on with just the two of us.
Listen, this is politically uncensored, so I'm just going to come right out with it and get to the question that people want to know, which is your manhole intact? There, I said it. I asked.
Well,
Dave, you wanted to know too, Dave.
it was a little bit of a
I'm not interested.
touch and go situation there when I was out under the knife. I thought that David might be sneaking into the operating room, doing a little, trying to get a little hanky panky in there, but it looks like everything went okay. I hope you like the new look. I got a little bit of what I like to call a fluff and stuff in the cheeks here, and a little. I got a spray tan, and I got some actually new eyelids. Did you know they could do eyelid surgery?
Yes,
Can
that
we
I
do
do.
that?
I'm
Wow.
aware of
Yes.
eyelid surgery.
Yes, they do it.
Yeah.
They
Oh.
actually attach baby foreskin that they cut off and they
Oh.
put it on your eyelids.
Oh.
That's right. So I have that now. You can see. Look at that.
Okay.
Look at that.
So when you
at that.
fully wink at me, now we don't have to be secret behind Dave's back. I'll see it's a form of flattery. Just even
Nope.
right there with that foreskin
The
on
problem-
your eyeballs in all its
the
glory.
the problem with the foreskin eyelids is sometimes I might appear cockeyed.
Hello. Speaking of, what else changed about the whole package? Anything?
I don't want to know about Puppet's package. I don't think he has a package. Remember,
Here's the good news. Here's the good news. See, look at this profile.
Wow.
Still
That is a
amazing.
stark. Look at that nose. Look at
I
that
could
chin.
satisfy two women at once.
All right,
That was what I was known for
This is
before, and so
disgusting.
now I still got it. They say I still got it, but I'm just more debonair and more handsome than ever before. Don't you think, Taylor?
So needless to say, you're feeling good. I mean, I'm feeling great about it. And I see what you're those pronounced features. I
got
can just
veneers.
see the multitude of putting those to work on and off the show. And by that, I really mean by speaking his truth, people. What were you thinking? Jeez.
Yeah. What do you think of these veneers, Dave?
Oh, are you guys done? I'm sorry. I was just having a
talking
drink.
No, we're not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Talking about my new choppers, Dave.
No
Got-
comment.
Those things will
no
cut
comment?
you like a knife.
Yeah, no comment, I guess. I don't. I mean,
So how do you feel, Puppet? Do you feel swagalicious? Like, it wasn't this, and now this was not, hopping on the Ozempic trend. This was not peer pressure.
No,
Right?
no.
We just
Well,
want to
you
make
know,
sure.
The last conversation we had, last show, we were talking about celebrities on Ozempic, and I knew we were going to be hopping on a new show with you. And I tried. I felt like I needed a little bit of a new look, so I went to Pop a Pillow, and I said I need a little of that Giza Dream stuff. And they hit me up with a little filling, and I went under the knife there, and now I'm looking a little like this.
He said I need a little cushion for the pushing
Oh.
from Dr. Pillow. What am I gonna say?
this whole
That's right.
relationship between
I
you
got a lot of cushion for the pushing now, doll.
Oh, hello, Goodell. You got some goods down there from Goodell. Okay,
Hey, if you want
so-
your own My Pillow and you want to know what it feels like to snuggle up with the My Pillow, don't forget to use promo code Pollack, mypillow.com. Save up to 80% site wide.
That's right, and you know what it's like to snuggle up to me, Puppet Carlson.
I don't know if My Pillow is going to want us. I don't think My Pillow is going to want this affiliation after this, Puppet. I don't know.
I'm wondering what Tucker himself. I mean, we saw him
Yeah.
in the intro, but is he going to come for you for like using his likeness? Is this like trademark? Is this infringement? Like, I just need to know. I mean, if I were him, I would think it's full blown flattery.
Did you see Dan Crenshaw, the angry pirate himself? Did you see?
Shiver me timbers.
Yeah, I didn't have this video clip pulled up. You mentioned Tucker, because you remember when Dan Crenshaw was caught on the open mic saying he was like going to kill Tucker or
Oh
something.
yeah,
crazy?
yeah.
Yes, with the
And-
reporter, right?
Right, because he's so bad. And
He's
then the
unhinged.
memes that came after it were so funny. But that being said, I guess he was asked about it on Piers, and he said something like, "Are you going to go on Tucker's show?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm not going to go on a show. I challenged him to a debate, a public debate." And he said something like he's just not what he doesn't have it anymore. He's not the guy. He's just basically talking trash about Tucker. Anyway, Tucker's our guy. Dan Crenshaw can go pound sand.
he's just, listen, buddy, don't let the eye patch take over. Be bigger than the eye patch.
He's
you know
like
what
a
I mean?
villain.
Be bigger
He's
than
like
the
a
eye
villain.
patch.
He's like a super villain and guy with the voice. And I always, when I hear him talking, I'm way on a segue, and then we'll get back on track. Every time I hear him talk, I think the perfect voice for him would be Seth MacFarlane when he does the voice of Brian the dog from The Family Guy. That's Dan Crenshaw's voice with end guy villain vibes.
Can I actually give a little Tucker insight in that clip actually we just saw? And this actually pertains to you, Puppet, because I don't know. It's like both of you are in the race for my heart. So he may give you a run for your money a little bit.
So you have it's a Tucker fetish, not so much a puppet fetish.
Well, hear me out. And this is why he'd be a great show. A great guest for Politically Uncensored, because when I interviewed him, you would think from seeing him that he's always like really serious and intense and buttoned up and all this. So I'm telling him, I'm like, listen, Tucker, like it was at the Bitcoin conference. And I said, my motto is boobs out, brain out, and women being all things.
Which
and
Bitcoin conference was this?
Last year in Nashville. And he just went right with it. He wasn't like, oh, what? He was like, yeah, all right, groovy, right on, basically. I'm paraphrasing. And then later, we talked about tidy whities and made fun of Hunter Biden and his tidy whities, which is why I was shadow banned, another story. And then he points to everybody who's watching our interview, and he's like, guys, no one wear tidy whities ever. And so who would have thunk it?
Do they still make tidy whities? They still make them?
Puppet, you tell us. You would
the
know.
Chinese government
you
or something.
Just look in your underwear drawer. You know they're there.
I haven't wore. I kind of miss my. I mean, I haven't worn tidy whities since I was like maybe elementary school. You know, the fruit of the looms.
Yeah.
I still don't even know what a fruit of the loom is. By the way,
so like 2 years ago.
Did we ever thought about what a fruit? I wish I was that young.
Fruit of your looms.
What is a fruit of the loom anyhow?
The fruit of the loom. The loom is what you like I am, you make material out of it. You spin yarn.
So that's the fruit of the loom.
Right.
I never thought about it that way.
It's about the cotton, Dave.
So the underwear is the fruit of the loom.
Well, the cotton is.
It's the product that comes off the...
thought it was too close for comfort, no pun intended, with sexual undertones, and it always kind of gave me the ick. I was like, is it overt or not?
Those are the fruits of my loom. And the thing is,
I don't want to know anything.
I always felt like Hanes was the better brand, and the fruit of the loom was like the cheap, because that's what my mom bought me, with the fruit of the loom. And since we were poor, I always figured maybe those were the poor people's underwears. And so I always thought like Hanes were for maybe rich people. I don't know if that's true or not, but anyway, Hunter Biden's tidy white.
Fruit of the loom, because they always had the commercials with all the guys were like the mixed fruit. You know, the guy was in the grape outfit.
Oh, that's right. I thought that. I forgot about that. It was like the Village People, but just actual fruit.
Yeah, they were actual fruit.
You know what we should do is we should do an episode where you guys have to both do the whole Politically Uncensored Evan Tidy Whities, report to us in real time how it's feeling, how it's airing out.
Can we wait till we have viewers first, because we don't want to lose them?
You know what was funny about the fruit guys was they had the fruit, but they never had someone dressed up like the loom.
Because what the hell is the loom? I mean, how would you dress as a loom?
Well,
what is a loom?
Well,
what is a loom?
I feel like it's like I feel like it's what's that chick who was spinning the wheel and she pricked her finger? Rapunzel? No, that's the long-haired chick.
Thumbelina.
Thumbelina. Was it Thumbelina? No, Rumpelstiltskin or something.
Yeah, Rumpelstiltskin and
not Thumbelina. Thumbelina was that little miniature person.
I was so confident too. I was like, Thumbelina.
What? Oh God! What is the little?
Someone chime in and help throw us a life raft.
Who was the person who pricked their finger and Rumpelstiltskin put a curse on her? Anyway,
it's not so.
I don't know. Someone's got to Google that.
So the point of my whole story is, and I'm getting
tell us in the chat. Come on.
I'm getting tangential. The question is, that's what I imagine a loom would look like. A loom is like that
Sleeping Beauty, a Sleeping Beauty, but Sleeping Beauty wasn't. She did.
Oh, that's right. It wasn't, but it wasn't Rumpelstiltskin.
But that wasn't Rumpelstiltskin. Who was with Rumpelstiltskin?
Okay, maybe I'm confusing a lot of things.
Yeah,
I feel like I have a fairy tale mashup in my head.
I feel like when you get a wedgie, you might have a Rumpelstiltskin.
Either way,
speaking of,
we are so off topic.
Do you want to know? Well, actually, I have a little segue. Do you want to know about? You said this is like a whole mashup. Get a load of this, guys. And we can talk about this at a later date, but right now, Disney, which has gone down, actually set ablaze in the American Airlines plane that is like its woke business, right? Is just like has canceled itself basically. But Snow White is getting a lot of hype right now because you have Rachel Ziegler, and she's pro Palestine, and then Gal Gadot, who's Israeli, and it's just a whole thing. So that kind of gets us into the first
total shit show, and she is just a nightmare, total nightmare for Disney. That chick.
Well, anyway, it's just more Disney like trying to remake movies that look different than you remember them just to spite you. How is that a segue to this Palestinian thing? Let's talk about it. But
you got Israel, you got Gal Gadot, who's my fave Israeli, and then you have,
I'm gonna give it to you. It's our first show. Yeah, I'm gonna give it to you.
Just making the magic happen in real time,
But now we're gonna have people in the chat saying she's Mossad.
Well, this guy's anti-Israel.
Yeah.
I feel like Rachel Ziegler would be in this guy's camp. He would be the protester in Trump Tower, being like for the Colombian I keep saying Colombian, the Columbia students.
Columbia.
Yes.
Columbia.
Oh yeah. So we got someone.
See what I'm saying? You see what I'm getting at?
All right. Well, let me set up the story.
Together.
All right. For those who you've no idea what we're talking about, in addition to Fruits of the Looms, and by the way, I always feel like if Hunter Biden's underwear probably has like cigarette burns and stains, and I don't want to think about his underwear anymore. So this is what everybody's talking about. If you haven't been paying,
do you remember the old
No, we're not talking about underwear anymore.
Remember the old commercials for the was it for a denture cleaner? Maybe it was Topol, I think was the brand, and they would blow the smoke through a pair of underwear, and then it would leave a big like cigar stain.
No,
in the underwear, and then now you got to clean your.
Now
is that successful advertising?
Look, for those of you who have no idea what the hell we're talking about,
Take us there, Dave.
with these protests. You remember last year when those mostly non-peaceful protests were harassing Jewish students and kicking them off their campus in Columbia, and there was this whole backlash, and it was a mess under Joe Biden's leadership. Not leadership, I should say. Well, anyway, it turns out that these people were foreigners on student visas and were basically coming here to radicalize American liberal students. And now Trump made good on his executive order to kick them the hell out. And now, of course, what are they doing? Protesting. Here's what's happening. Check it out.
University student Jonas Du joins me now. Jonas, good morning to you. Thank you so much for being here.
Good morning.
So this detention hearing is happening today. His legal team will be there. He will not. But what do you know about Mahmoud Khalil, and what are your thoughts on his potential deportation?
So Mahmoud Khalil is an organizer and leader in one of the anti-Israel coalitions on campus called Columbia University Apartheid Divest. They were formed or revived after October 7, 2023, and they have really been the ringleader and the lead organizer of a lot of the protests that we've seen throw chaos into the Columbia University campus, including the Gaza Solidarity encampment of last April and the Hamilton Hall occupation, as well as the sit-ins in Millbank Hall at Barnard College this year. He was a lead negotiator during the encampment, meaning that he was negotiating between the protesters and the administration, trying to get the administration to divest from Israel. And, you know, he is associated with a group that people have characterized as pro-Hamas because they have endorsed Hamas, they have endorsed armed resistance, and they have said that they want to fight for the.
I was not part of this encampment. I did not sleep in the encampment. This shows the randomness and the arbitrary measures that the university is taking against their students.
As people join us, we are going to sing the Ruth song. If you guys don't know it, it's here. Where you go, I will go, my friend. Where you go, I will go. Where you go, I will go, my friend. Where you go, I will go. Students are under attack. What do we do? Stand up, fight back. When students are under attack. When students are under attack. What do we do? Stand up, fight back. When immigrants are under attack.
So there you get the gist of it. You heard what the guy did. You heard him denying it all, of course. And then, of course, Trump kicks him out. Those are the protests. They didn't just those stupid songs. What is with their stupid masks?
I was just going to say that, David.
Songs, Taylor.
I was just going to say I'm obviously all for free expression and free speech, but like, can they shut up?
Yeah.
I mean, just shut up.
You know, I agree. That's the one people we want censored. I mean, but they wear, if they're so proud and brave, they always wear those stupid masks, right? Which only proves that
over
COVID had
these
the
people?
masks for COVID had nothing to do with actually protecting people, other than just creating this new identity of liberal act blue warrior. And so they have their stupid little masks on. Then they memorize all these stupid songs. And for people, and we're going to talk about this later with the Gwen Stefani thing, but for these people who really don't like Israel, or most of the time Christians, they really have a weird ass counter religion, right? They all sit around with their hymns of socialism. What say you?
I am so sick of this. Where do I even begin? And I have to say, like, the puppet swaggy lean in right now is kind of like distracting me from my whole rant I have about the like infiltration of anti-Semitism in our culture. But anyways, where do I even begin? Look,
Is he smoldering?
He is.
Ugh. All right, go ahead, Taylor.
Only that kind of presence could pull my attention from this topic.
Don't get
distract me.
distracted.
But anyways, was it just me? Sorry. I mean, what can I say? It's a Thursday night. So here's the problem with this. It's just asinine. Okay. These people, first of all, these people could not place Palestine on a map. That's number one. And they've put an American lens on what has happened. Now, I will say, all three of us, when you guys came on my show, we actually, not that we defended Kanye West when he took out the Super Bowl ad for his merch site with all it had was a t-shirt with a swastika, right? And we all said, free speech is free speech, right? Let the public decide and do the rest. And I agree. If it's worth being reprimanded, if someone's going to actually incite violent harm, then yes, you take the steps. So I'm not going to lie. When I first saw this, I thought, even when I heard Caroline Leavitt talk about it or Marco Rubio, I thought, what did he actually do? It all felt ambiguous of like whisperings, like he was the ringleader. What did he actually do? I wanted to see that, right? But the bigger point for me is how this is all normalized. And I'm so sick of it. If I see these kids one more time, and sorry, this is my little soapbox, but they have so normalized villainizing Israel as the as the antagonizers. And I'm so sick of it. We are dealing with a brutal, barbaric terrorist organization that doesn't give a flying shit about the Palestinian people, uses them as pawns, has infiltrated themselves in every part of civilian life to make it their mission, quite literally out in the open, to destroy Israel and kill off the Jews, quite literally in their manifesto. And yet Israel is the bad guy here. No. So I'm done. I am done with it. And all of these people, like, this is to be expected because they're upset. And, this kid now getting deported. And, it's all also the weeds of like, he's on a student visa and has a green card, all this. I don't care. What I know is this math ain't mathing. And these people need a reality check and they need to wake up. No. I'm sick of it.
Puppet, don't you find it weird that, and I agree with you, Taylor. Puppet, don't you find it weird that one week they're calling Elon Musk a Nazi and the next week they're calling for the death and destruction of Israel? Can you make sense of that for me with your smoldering?
Sure. No. Look, Dave, the whole thing is just ridiculous. First of all, this is one of America's brightest institutions, or supposedly, right? And you have these people acting like just fools and protesting, and like Taylor said, they don't even know where Palestine is. I mean, it's just ridiculous. This guy is supposed to be here studying at one of the greatest institutions in the United States, and instead of coming here to study, he's coming here to create chaos, and he's organizing, as they called it. Barack Obama, the great organizer. He's organizing on campus, but he's organizing the students to protest, to destroy, to camp out, to look, you don't get to come here on a student visa as a guest of the United States and then protest
the United States.
Yeah. You don't get to do it. I don't care. Free speech is for citizens of the United States. Maybe your country has free speech too. That's great. Yeah. But can you come here as a guest? There's couth. You know what I mean? There's a way of behaving. And this isn't it, buddy. You don't get to organize against the United States as a guest of the United States. If you do that, free speech or not free speech, because it really doesn't have anything to do with free speech. It has to do with the rules of your tenure and your stay. You get to go home and we're going to kick you out because we don't need more of that shit here. We need more people bringing stuff to the table to the U.S. That's why we're giving people these opportunities. We're not giving you an opportunity to come here and undermine our society. We already have enough liberals here doing that on their own, who are actually American citizens.
We have enough liberals who want to destroy Western civilization. I mean, what? Like,
we don't need to import them and pay for it.
Exactly. And it's sort of like if I'm having a house party, I invited you if your drunk ass is getting a little sloppy and then you're actually inciting to burn down my house and you're inciting and harassing my guests, yeah, I'm going to kick you out. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. What is this?
But they have free speech, Taylor. You can't just kick them out.
Well, you know,
they're saying that's the crux of it, right? Dave is like, well, they're stepping on his free speech, and it's like we don't owe him dicky.
No, they're saying he's Trump's anti-immigrant now because this immigrant is coming here to destroy America. Then they went over to Trump Tower. Here, check this out.
Yeah.
They're saying free Mahmoud and free them all. Now,
free them all.
Now, they were trying to figure this out, these people. They've been trying to figure out their protest because first it was the pro-Mexican protests right when Trump was first elected. Like, oh, this one's going to work. And so, these Act Blue and these George Soros organizations are like, oh, we're going to do pro-Mexican protests. And then the Mexicans were like, no, we really don't like illegal aliens coming here either. And then they realized that only 40% of the people crossing into this country illegally are actually Mexican. So they're like, okay, this isn't going to work. What are we going to do next? Then they started burning Teslas and vandalizing Tesla dealerships. Trump said basically if you vandalize and commit violence on any business, you're going to be labeled a domestic terrorist. And of course, then the fake news CNN goes out and they're like, oh my God, no, that's protest. You're destroying.
He says these people want to protest and he doesn't want them to protest. No, that's not what he said.
Well, because these people
commit violence.
These people call protesting violence. But I have really good news for you guys. In case you were worried and you're like, how do these people get away with this? Why aren't we arresting these people? Why aren't we throwing them in jail? There's a new sheriff in town, and look what happened to these people.
That's all college kids, tuition gone down the drain, everybody's gone. Way to go. Support the guy that's supposed.
They went to jail.
Nice.
They went to jail.
Well, you don't get
so sick of it.
You don't get to protest inside of a
private building.
Come on, guys. That's not protesting.
Well, guys, even remember at Columbia when they had the encampments where they locked themselves inside, what was it, hall? Something with the on campus.
Yeah, they were breaking the windows.
Jews.
They were, yes.
Oh, okay. That's free speech now. Interesting. Noted. Got it.
Only on the liberal side is that free speech.
Right. But now, God forbid.
And peaceful protesting.
Right. God forbid you go to the Capitol building with an American flag.
No.
No, you guys, I saw a piece the other day that was literally talking about, and it wasn't a new piece on Puppet, unfortunately, but it was saying this very thing. And obviously it was maybe in CNN or, a leftist site. And it was like, oh, you can't even it's the same argument. It's so tired. It's like, oh, you can't even speak up against Elon Musk and Tesla. God forbid. It's like, you mean by shooting bullets in his establishment? Oh, yeah. Okay, this is normal. Are you okay?
Or burning his property or
exactly. I'm so sick of it.
Driving a Tesla on the road. Oh yeah. So Alan in the chat says Hamilton Hall. That's what the
Hamilton. Yeah. I was gonna say that. Yes, Hamilton Hall. And I don't know, guys. I'm just it's with all of this stuff, and I feel like Jews just keep getting thrown under the bus. And this is gonna be another example of that because again, excuse me, we have seen that. It just this wide normalized thing of they're, committing genocide and I know genocide on a late night show. It's getting a little dark, but genocide. You know what I mean? And all this nonsense of ethnic cleansing. And I'm like, who is doing the ethnic cleansing here? Again, maybe it's the thing they're defending themselves from. Right. So it's the same thing now with this. Now this goes without saying. It's par for the course. We're going to see this. And now Trump hates, it's Islamophobic, it's this, it's that, he hates immigrants, and no free speech, all this, and yet who gets thrown under the bus yet again? Whose fault is it? The Jews.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so done with it.
Well, we could turn the page not on the Jews, and now the Christians apparently are the left doesn't like them too much either.
Of course they don't.
You told me about this. Now, listen, I don't know the story. There's this Jesus actor, right? That apparently Gwen Stefani liked, and it turned into a thing. Should I play the clip now, or do you want to set this up?
Well, let's set the stage, because we do want to preface this by saying this is not to compare, being Muslim and Christian, because we know we have these back to back. This is not what this is about. This is about people getting their priorities in check in what they root for and what they try to cancel. So Gwen Stefani, your favorite hollaback girl, had the audacity.
I forgot about that song.
This SHIT is bananas, because she reposted a clip of our guy Tucker interviewing this man who literally, I was like, guys, why does he look like Jesus? He actually is Jesus. He is the actor Jonathan Rumi in The Chosen. And if you want to roll the clip, David, you will see. And it's very pure. She reposted it, and I'll tell you guys what happened afterward.
All right, here's the Jesus guy.
Power of prayer, the power of being in a constant dialogue with God. It's what we were made for. We were designed to worship. We were designed for that relationship. It's in our DNA. And the more we try to ignore it or squash it or bury it or ignore it or pretend it doesn't exist or that it's not there or replace it with something else, the more we just run in circles.
Wow. I'm going to talk like this from now on, too.
Oh.
It's very captivating.
That's some nighttime ASMR.
Yes. So
Was
tell
that
me,
with or without the whiskey?
this is without the whiskey. Taylor, tell me about that clip.
When I heard that, I said, Jesus.
I know.
That's a deep voice.
They had his gain turned up to, but they had the gain turned up to 50.
And he was just talking.
David completely missed the joke.
I got you. I said, Jesus Christ, that's a voice.
Jesus Christ,
Oh,
I
sorry.
got you.
I was too busy being Batman.
Yeah, you were. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, leave the comedy to me, Dave.
Well, if I did, the show wouldn't be funny. So Taylor, tell me this. So okay, we saw the clip.
We
So
heard
we
his
saw
we heard
the
his
clip,
voice.
And he's just saying, a spiritual relationship with a higher power, it's the most important, supersedes
Agreed.
all. If not, what are we even doing? Okay,
Agreed.
pretty much like, I feel like you could, it's not that, I feel like that could kind of, be pretty agreeable. So people came after Gwen, okay? They were on her ass and they were literally obliterating her. You would think she was like the devil reincarnated. It was crazy. They were saying that you, just for merely being associated with Tucker Carlson, you've lost the plot. And I'm putting it nicely.
I
They
have to-
ripped
here,
her
look,
5 new
check it out.
a-holes.
Here's
Okay, perfect. Here we
It's
go.
going to cover you. I apologize for the viewers
That's
at
fine.
home
It's
that
doing
are
a better
only
job than
watching
I
it
am.
for you.
Gwen in her Trump era, right-wing grifter.
Yeah.
We're talking about spirituality. Like, are you guys okay? You need a reality check.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, this is my favorite. It's you're supporting Tucker Carlson, the Russian propagandist, because he interviewed Putin. Okay. Just literally unhinged.
Yeah.
And so
In the clip, though, the entire time the guy was talking, and then Tucker goes,
Because he was mesmerized with his voice. He was like,
literally.
he's like, this guy might actually be Jesus.
Tucker was in there for like a millisecond, and now she's promoting Tucker Carlson, the propaganda, because Tucker was like, no, she's promoting the guy and what he was talking about. And now maybe you could bash her because she loves Jesus and you're an atheist,
Sure.
But the blasting her because she's promoting Tucker is just completely absurd. That's how moronic and demented and TDS these people are, because Tucker derangement syndrome, derangement syndrome, EDS, Elon derangement syndrome. These people literally have a
PDS,
disease.
puppet derangement syndrome.
I was going to say that.
Beat
Is
you.
that a thing? Have we diagnosed that yet?
I mean, you got a different kind of.
I was
symptoms
going to
to
say
it,
that. I
but
have
yeah.
it, but kind of in reverse, where it's
you
like
puppet.
he can do no wrong in my eyes, whereas with the others, it's like anything.
That's right.
Well, we'll see about that. I don't know. He did start the show picking his nose, so we caught that on camera.
That was a joke.
So he says. So he
Totally
says.
a joke.
But
Save that bad boy for later. You know what I'm saying?
oh, okay. It's all part of our scheduled baptism later, right? In the
And that
spirit of
video.
all this. No, yeah. So, anyways, guys, isn't it interesting that, and look, again, I'm saying this as a Jew, right? But isn't it interesting that you have these celebrities who have to apologize for this kind of faith? Like Nicole Scherzinger, who I've also met and is great from the Pussycat Dolls. She had her come to Jesus moment, and same thing. And something very in this a similar vein, having that connection and spirituality. Guys, she actually apologized for that after getting crap.
You know what? That's
What are we talking about? That is bull crap. And I just want to say this, and Dave, I want to hear your thoughts as well. But just putting it all in context, this is where these people need to get their priorities straight, okay? Because this is coming from the same people, even after what we just watched, where they will support, literally take down the Jews by any means necessary, eradicate them all. And yet this is demonized by being like spirituality. Guys,
Yeah.
we need to have a talking to, okay? Just
Well, look,
make it make sense.
It has nothing to do with the Jews most of the time. Now, there are some people who are not too happy with our people. But the reality is they just have to pick groups of people to divide people up against. And I said this years ago. It was during the Black Lives Matter stuff, and then the trans stuff started, and I go, God, they're coming for the Jews next. Because what they need to do is create a group of people, create this problem around them, and then come in as the blessed saviors. And the problem is Democrats don't like Jews enough to do anything about it. So now there's just rampant Jew hate. That sucks. But the thing
isn't Hollywood all Jews? I mean,
yes, but it's
weird.
But when you're liberal, you saw that religion at Columbia University or whatever she calls it, Columbus University. What do you call it? You call it something weird.
What was I? Was calling it Columbian?
Columbian, yeah, Columbia University. If it was Columbian University, it would have 7 other universities living in the same university and making delicious food and arguing about when you get. Anyway,
exactly.
So the at Columbia University, they have these chants, right? That all like memorize. They're handing out the hymns of the radical left. And so if you're a Democrat, if you're a radical leftist, that is your religion. It doesn't matter if you're Jewish, if you're black, if you're whatever. If you're radical left, that is your supreme religion. And there's no tolerance. You talk about religious extremism. The liberal left is the most fundamental religious extremist movement I think our country has ever seen. Way worse than anything we've been afraid about since 9/11. And they have their scripts, they have their marching orders. They've committed more violence in this country than any terrorist up to this point. They've burned down cities, they've attacked students, they've attacked universities, they've attacked car dealerships, they attack people, and now they're attacking Gwen Stefani because she likes Jesus. These people are anti-American. They're anti-anything that's not going along with their globalist worldview of communism. And I'm sorry, it's late night, we're supposed to be having fun, but these people are a threat. They are. And the sooner we identify them for what they are, the better off we're going to be. And the sooner these people start going to jail, be labeled the domestic terror organizations that they are, all coordinated by this group Act Blue. I mean, this is a problem. It's coordinated domestic terrorism, and we need to call it out for what it is.
It's hypocrisy, and it's also stupidity. This woman is literally retweeting this guy who plays Jesus, being like, having a connection with faith. Okay. But we're going to scream Antifada at the top of our lungs. Like, you guys are just literally all
They don't even know what that word means either. They just repeat
I know, no kidding. Because it's free speech,
right.
Dave.
Yeah.
But you guys, you want to actually know a little tidbit about Gwen and Blake Shelton, who...
Are they still married?
They are still married. And actually, in the spirit of all this, I think, so I'm based here in Nashville, and I do have a history of celeb reporting and interviewing. I think our guy, Blake Shelton... Actually, I don't think I know. I've heard through the grapevine. He's a little bit of a closeted conservative himself, but apparently, he behind closed doors is so like politically incorrect, says what he thinks. Well, when I met him, I'll tell you guys a brief little story. I kind of took this to heart. And I told him, and it was at his own bar, at a show, a fun game show of his that he was promoting. And I was there invited as press. And I opened the interview talking about when I actually sat next to Gwen Stefani's parents at The Voice when I lived in LA and was covering it. And I was basically telling him that you would never think these are Gwen Stefani's parents because, she's all like rock star with her studs and like badass. And these looked like two, blue collar, farmer Jane and John with their plaid and their secret, like the whole thing, like you would never know. So basically I was trying to convey this to Blake Shelton, and I was like, you would never think that like she came out of them, not in a bad way, just in a comical way. And he was like kind of a little tipsy, and I think he thought I was insulting them. And so I got the interview back on track, but yeah, he took it the wrong way.
So you
and
just
he
went
was
right
like,
for
what?
it. Yeah.
I went right for it.
I thought your parents didn't have enough class to make somebody like you. Oh,
That's
I didn't
not
mean
what
that.
I meant!
I didn't mean that. Those people are just, you know,
I
they
just meant
just seem kind of
aesthetically.
normal. And
I just meant aesthetically. And so I think he was like, are you like shading my in-laws right now? But it was more just funny that it's like they look, never mind. Okay, it didn't work on him and it didn't work on you guys. I just need to put it to bed like Joe Biden.
Yeah, that's one I'd bury. I'll tell you this though, it doesn't matter. And then this is the thing that we talked about when we were on your show, the fact that everybody wants politics to be in everything. And look, I do politics for a living. I get it. But it doesn't have to be in our music, and it doesn't have to be in our art. And we talked earlier about the Snow White remake, and they get a Mexican woman that hates America, to play that literally hates anything Snow White. And they get her to play Snow White. And it wasn't because she's earned the role. It was because they wanted to be antagonistic to everything that Disney hates. And that's the traditional values that they used to represent. And so art and film and music has just become the unfortunate battleground for ideology. And it doesn't need to be. I don't care. If
really call it a dumping ground.
What do you mean?
Just trash, man.
Well, it is trash, but it doesn't have to be. And so, whatever Blake Shelton's conservative politics are, it don't matter. What is you got a hairball? Did they leave some in there?
Some residuals from the exactly.
Conversation about Disney just makes me want to blah. You know, just grow.
I get that. I get that. You know, guys, I grapple with this a lot because I kind of left Hollywood at the precipice of when politics was infiltrating and it was becoming woketopia and all this. And I wonder this a lot. It's like, is there a time and place? Is it the equivalent of an athlete, like just dribble the ball? It's like, just do the art, just do the thing. Like, why do we need to hear your input? But then I'm also like, you know, they are capturing a slice of culture and society and speaking to our hearts and minds. And free speech. So should they? I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. But I'll tell you what, it's not just Hollywood that's become activist everything. Today, we saw something that was very, very interesting. I'm sure you guys saw. Now, look, this is not new. We've seen this in Trump administration 1.0, that Trump does something and then the judges say you can't. Trump knew this was coming, which is why you saw about 3,464,274 executive orders, because the idea is let's get as many of these done as possible. They're going to start challenging them and start slowing things down. Now, of course, he uses his right as the chief executive over the executive branch to get rid of probationary employees. And then we have some activist judges now deciding that they're going to tell people what they can and can't do. Check it out.
The robed resistance is back at it. A federal judge is trying to play the role of president again. In a fit of pique, Clinton appointee William Alsup ordered the Trump administration to rehire thousands of probationary federal workers that the president had fired. Now, revealing his obvious bias, Alsup called the firings a sham multiple times. He even waved his finger at the government's lawyer, again saying, "This is a sham. It upsets me."
This is going to be in litigation for perhaps years. It's going to cost the government maybe billions of dollars to litigate these cases, and it's not going to be resolved anytime soon.
The lawyers filing these cases, the state's attorneys generals, have been trying to target districts that they think they could get more favorable rulings.
Now, here we go. The unelected other branch of government, not these judges that need to be impeached. What do y'all think?
Like all this sheer hypocrisy. Again, these are the people who are losing their marbles over the unelected official Elon Musk.
Right.
I'm done with it.
That's an excellent point. You're right. Who elected these judges to tell the president what he can and can't do with the executive? Who he can and can't fire?
Exactly. And it's, I'm sorry, it's giving Lori Loughlin, Felicity Huffman, USC, like, sorry, you have to do it the due process like everybody else. And we are on to you and we're going to sniff you out. And on a serious note, it sort of worries me because it's like, we always say, innocent until proven guilty or due process. And if we can't rely on on our own justice system, if it's this crooked and corrupt, well, then what can we? I mean, it actually is like, it is like trust no B. And I'll tell you, and you guys saw this, I'm sure, but when it was weaponized against Trump, I saw even my people and friends on the left who were like, if they can do it if they can go after him,
well,
okay, none of us are safe. So,
but the thing is, who'd want to keep a job that you got fired from? You're a probationary employee. You got fired. Then the judge is like, well, you can't be fired. You're going to come back. You know you're going to get fired again. You're better off just get another damn job, man. Like, you're not gonna work here anymore. And if the chief executive can't fire people from their organization, then they're not the chief executive of their organization. So this is just complete and utter nonsense. And it's just more lawfare against Donald J. Trump, just like we saw in election one and in term one, just like we see between this term and the last one. And now we're seeing it more inside. And this is just all liberal deep staters put into positions for nothing more than to dismantle the country and to impede Trump from doing anything.
Yeah. Well,
that we want him to do.
And this is what they knew was coming. I mean, we're talking a little bit later. We're going to, if we have time, I don't know if we will, we'll talk about the Schumer shutdown, but it's literally every chance they get to resist. It seems like we're never going to get a period of time in the country where the president is given the deference to do what the president is supposed to do. Congress does what they're supposed to do. Courts are supposed to do what they're supposed to do. It's just pure flipping chaos all the time. It always has to be chaos. And this isn't the way it used to be, and it's not Trump's fault. You have to go all the way back to Obama when all this kind of started, when it was, we're just going to do what we want and we'll deal with it in the courts. Before that, people kind of stayed in their lane. Everybody had their role, and people used to work together. There was partisanship. It was under Bill Clinton, where Newt Gingrich, the Speaker of the House, was able to do welfare reform and come close to balancing a budget. So this isn't the way it's always been. This is just the way they've taken it.
I will say, though, even with this Schumer shutdown thing, although it did end up going through, if the Democrats had the power in the House and the Senate, the Republicans, like they did all through Biden's term, and in certain cases in Obama's term, they just lay down. Like, oh, the Dems all want to get together and do a and pass a CR. Great, we'll sign a giant ass omnibus bill, not read it, and destroy the country. Yeah, Republicans will all sign up for that. And of course, us as MAGA Republicans over on the sidelines are going, "What? What are you doing? Why are you signing that? Don't sign that." And of course, they sign that, and then avoid a shutdown. And it's like, we want to shut the shit down. Like, I don't want to sign that big ass omnibus bill. That's ridiculous. But when the Republicans, even when Republicans had some power in the House or the Senate, but then Democrats had control, like, we would still roll over. And so now we really have the power. And the Democrats, of course, they don't roll over for shit. They all stand together and they push back because they're smart. They actually tried to get what they want, and we just played the game. We have so many swampies in our midst that they just roll over and allow the Democrats to do whatever the hell they want. Well, now we have a little bit more power, and now we're pushing back and we're playing their game, and they don't like it that we're playing their game.
They do. They fight dirty. Like, they are like the undercover housewives, I feel like, of Washington. Like, they get real nasty and dirty. And correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but as far as I'm concerned, as far as the Schumer shutdown, it's sort of like this is where they look completely idiotic, because I feel like they weren't going to go for the CR at first because they wanted to show, see, Trump's in office, the right holds, the House, the Senate, they control, and like, we're still shut down. Look at this mess that they made, right? Petty Betty. Now, suddenly, Chuck Schumer's like, well, actually, we didn't want to go through that because it would give Trump too much power. It's like, you guys just literally, again, asinine, right? I mean, basically, it's kind of like chasing after their own tail, as
But at the same time, too, like, you're not voting or you are voting because you do or you don't want to give because you don't want to give Trump power. So before they were saying no because they didn't want to give Trump power. Now they're saying yes because they don't want to give Trump power.
It's like, which is it? Right. That's what I mean.
Not giving the president power is the wrong reason. Whether it's for or against, or to vote. Like, this is ridiculous.
Well, they don't know what to do anymore, Puppet. They don't know what to do anymore because the first term was resist, resist, resist. Then they lost so badly that they're like, okay, we're supposed to continue to resist, right? And they're like, well, we can't now because it's not going to go well for us. They're like, well, what are we supposed to do? We're not supposed to go get along with him at all. And I think the State of the Union, or they called it the Joint Session of Congress speech, I think, by the way, over I logged this into our pill.net account over here, Puppet. Maven's back over there. Too Wild Irish Rose has been
Too Irish Rose,
she, like, blowing us up over there with all of the socials and all of that. We have some new followers over there.
Thank you guys over there, Pilled. We love Pilled.
We love our Pilled people, and I'm excited to be back over on Pilled, and I think they're gonna like this new show. And
what do you guys think of my new look?
Yeah, well, I'm still on the fence. It's so weird. You sound the same, but you look so different. And yes, Maven, Puppet got some work done. You got to go back, watch the beginning of the show on the replay. He did get some work done. He was feeling
transitioned, Maven.
He transitioned into a
lady killer.
Yeah, I don't think Taylor kind of thinks so, but anyway,
look at that profile. Look at that profile.
God,
come on
started
now.
Again, please, Maven, don't get him started. So here's the deal. They don't know what to do anymore, and after that joint session of Congress. And it backfired so badly on them when they couldn't stand up and clap for a kid with cancer. And like, it backfired. So they're like, oh, crap. People are getting mad at us. Because you know what's different now?
And then they had their old lady bingo paddles.
Yeah, that was... But you know what's different?
One of them was like Elon Steals. And it's like, come on.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Elon steals. Like, he has billions of dollars. What the hell is he going to steal? Yeah. So here's the deal, though.
And he's also, you guys know he's doing this for free, right?
Yeah,
right.
So
he's doing it for free.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. She says you have a jaw like Maven says you have a jaw like an American dad.
Hello,
American puppet.
He means an American dad.
I know he has a double chin like the American dad, not a jaw. There's no jaw there.
My guns.
I mean, with all that surgery, he couldn't get rid of his double chin. So listen, but the reality is we have the media now. We didn't have that before. So now if it was the shut up, Puppet. I'm trying to make a good point here. If the media if we had the same media we had when in 2016, we would never have found out about them applauding or sitting down for the kid with cancer. Nobody would have found out about it. The difference is they're being exposed. And now there's accountability. And I want to show you guys before we move on, because we have like 2 minutes left. In addition to Puppet Carlson's new look, we also have something here that I have on my desk. It's called the BBC, and it's my big black clock.
Oh, not my big black mic. Oh yeah, no. It's the BBC.
So I got my big black clock, and my big black clock. It's telling me it's 10:59.
I want a BBC on my desk.
You have to handle a BBC carefully. And since I'm the keeper of the BBC, I have to tell you all we're running out of time. So I don't know if we're going to get to the AutoPen story. I don't even know if I have time to play the Chuck Schumer clip. What do you want to do?
On a BBC right now.
Don't we all? Don't we all? You know,
what do we do?
I'll just kind of some of my last thoughts.
Yeah, let's just do last thoughts. Yeah.
Center right, common sense, kind of populist POV, right? With all of this, it's the activist judges, it's the, Sleeping Beauty, not so much Biden with the auto pen, all of this stuff, the bureaucracy. The people you talk about, if this media wasn't in the White House, we wouldn't see it. And we're just fed up and we're sick of it. And for whatever reason, these people have an actual BBC hard on for holding on to these roles. And the public's eyes have been opened. It's like, we're not having it anymore. We know that you're corrupt. We know that you're in bed with each other, no pun intended. And we're done with it and we're sick of it. And for whatever reason, like I said, I don't know if it's because of their structure, their little tradition, or their power, their values, but we're done with it. And it's across the board with all of these issues.
Yeah, you're right. Puppet, do you have any last thoughts? And then I'll send us out because our first show is over and I've had so much fun. I could continue it all day, but we have to leave them wanting more, just like Taylor.
That's right. I want to just say that I'm excited for this show, the new show, Politically Uncensored. We could be a little bit more loose. I'm a little bit more
You
loose.
can't be any more loose, Puppet. I mean, you literally have an entire manhole.
And yeah, okay, Dave. And I know he was in the manhole while I was asleep.
That was
I don't have
not.
proof. But I guarantee it. And,
Oh my God, Puppet!
What's that?
Over on Pill, they just put Maven just put up the picture
Of me naked?
Yeah, it's back.
There. Oh yeah, we're gonna have to grab that, Dave.
Yeah, well, I'm not grabbing anything when you're not wearing
you know
clothes.
you want to grab it, Dave. You know you want to grab it.
No, Taylor wants to grab it.
I'm
Not me.
so happy that Taylor's here with us now. This has been a great show. Thanks all for tuning in. Thank
Yes. And we want to maybe see you. We'll throw this out to the power to the people next time, but maybe we'll see who has the biggest BBC big black clock.
Be very specific. We're talking about clocks.
Are there any BWCs, big white clocks? No, this is a DEI strict policy.
I mean you can have any clock you want. I mean, mine happens to be black.
I got a big soft clock. It's a puppet clock. Yeah.
I've had a good time tonight. I've had a good time tonight. Taylor,
It's
this
been
is
a
so
fun
much
show. That's what this is all about.
Yeah, we talked about a lot of serious stuff today. I think you know what happened today, guys? I think we were all excited for the new show. We wanted to do a really good job, so we all studied and we had way too much information to share to people.
We got more for later. You know?
Yeah. I think we were all charged up to talk about stuff. Yeah, guys, we didn't get to talk about the auto pen stuff. Check it out. Go Google auto pen. Joe Biden literally didn't sign anything. A machine did. He could be a robot. And you got to go see Chuck Schumer admitting that they lost and saying somehow it would have been Trump's shutdown. These people are ridiculous. I had a great time tonight. We're going to be back next week. Next week, we got a packed week. Next Tuesday, we have George Santos coming on. Congressman George Santos coming on next Tuesday.
We have Space on Monday night.
Space on Monday night. That's right, on X. We have if it doesn't crash again, we have our Space on Monday night. So you guys come hang out with us over there. I don't know what we're talking about. I guess it's not going to be a shutdown. Maybe we'll be back to talk. I don't know. Maybe they'll still be protesting for people like named Mahmoud. And
we
then,
don't have to determine what we're going to talk about yet.
Yeah. And next Thursday, I think we might have our other George on. I have to confirm. So next week is going to be a lot of fun.
And maybe just maybe we will see the auto pen and Puppet's pants. I don't know. We'll see. No, Dave doesn't. Oh, Dave's not interested. I tried, you know.
All right. You guys get a room. And I'm gonna play us out. And guys, really, thank you so much for being here.
It's a Sharpie, baby.
It leaves a permanent mark.
Lordy,
that's a permanent mark.
All right. Well, good night, everybody. Thank you for watching our inaugural show, and we'll be back here 10 o'clock. So you have the voice for it, Taylor. Tell everybody when we're going to be back.
We are here to free your minds and your mouths Tuesdays and Thursdays at 10 p.m. Eastern.
10 p.m. Eastern. We will see you guys next week. We're going to start on time.
I'm about to go tubing it.
Puppet, do you have a little catchphrase for this sign out too? Are we going to do this again? Yeah.
And remember,
the fleece stops here.
The fleece stops here.
All right, good night, everybody.
Good night.